friends, and welcome to Green-Eyed Yogi. My name is Brandy and I'm so excited for you to be here today. Now I'm sure you gathered from the title of today's video that we are doing a restorative yoga flow. Specifically, we are going to be focusing on all sides of the spine, which I promise you'll understand as we get more into the practice. However, if you've never done restorative before, I thought I'd give you a little tidbit here, a little note. Restorative is not like your everyday average regular flow class. In restorative, we're actually only going to be getting into about 6 poses, like 6 set up poses, I guess, as we're going through the practice. That being said, we're going to be in these poses for about 2.5 to 3 minutes each so that we can surrender ourselves to the poses just a little bit more, get a little bit deeper into that connective tissue, and just allow our bodies to relax a little bit more than thinking, okay, what's the next pose? What are we moving on to next? This is definitely more of a relaxation flow, so if you're doing it right before bed, this is great, or if you just need some you time, some self-care, some self-love, this is a great flow for you. The last thing I want to note before we get started, as you may see that I have quite a few props around me here. We are going to be using props for today's practice. Now, if you don't have traditional yoga props, that is completely fine. You do not at all need them. I'm not even going to be using my bolster today to demonstrate any of these poses. I'm actually just going to be using 2 pillows from my bed. So if you just want to grab some pillows from your bed, that is great. I also am not going to be using blocks to demonstrate today's practice. If you have those things, feel free to use them. But if you don't have blocks, I just grabbed 2 throw pillows off the couch as blocks, and if you don't have throw pillows, I have a third option for you, and that is some blankets. So if you want to, if you don't have like a yoga blanket or anything like that, just a regular blanket, towels work great for this too. So if you have like a bathroom towel or a beach towel, that works great. Generally, if we are using it in the place of a yoga block, we'll want to fold it up nice and neat as much as we can, and then fold it over one more time to get a little bit more of a thickness there. That way we can place it like underneath our knees and allow it to help prop us up here. With all that being said, as you gather all of your props, we'll start to get into today's practice. So feel free to pause the video if you need to go gather all your props real quick. I've got on my fuzzy socks, so if you want to get nice and comfy, I definitely suggest getting all nice and cozy here. Obviously, no one's looking. You're in your own home, so get nice and cozy. You don't have to look super pretty or anything, just something that you can move in and something that feels relaxing. Now that we are nice and comfy, we're actually going to start our practice today down on our mat. So we're going to come to rest down into the earth. You can come all the way long down your mat. If you aren't practicing on a mat, that is completely fine. We're just going to rest the body out long here, coming on to our backs, resting down into the earth here. Hands can be down to the side, palms up, palms down, whatever feels most right to you in this moment, in this time. And as we're here, we're just going to slowly start to allow the body to melt down just a little bit here. And then I encourage you to start taking a mental scan of the body. As we're taking a mental scan of the body, we're going to start from the top of the head, sending it all the way down to the tips of the toes. As we're observing the body here, we want to notice any parts of the body that feel tight or sore, making sure that as we move through our practice today, we send a little extra love and space to those parts of the body. I also want you to turn your focus as you're scanning the body to parts of the body that feel good. Too often we spend our days walking around, using our body, allowing it to take us from point A to point B, and we're taking the body for granted, never truly noticing it until it is hurt or sick or not properly functioning. We tend to ignore it when it is in proper working order, when it is feeling good. Take this moment as you are scanning the body, just noticing little nuances here, noticing what parts of the body feel good, what parts of the body are optimizing at their perfect levels. And as we're noticing these parts of the body, sending in a little extra love and gratitude to those parts of the body. reminding your body that you are grateful for all that it does for you. We'll continue to scan the body. And as you're slowly starting to finish that mental scan here, we're going to start to turn our focus to our breath. So we'll start to deepen our inhales just ever so slightly, taking it slow here. Inhaling in through the nose, sending it all the way down into the diaphragm, that little space between the belly button and the pelvis, filling it up with some beautiful air. Exhale, it releases, the air travels back up out of the body. Try to see if with each and every inhale you can get it a little bit deeper, a little bit more full. Perhaps you close the eyes here, trusting, listening to my voice here. Matching our exhales with our inhales, both in length and in depth. Just trying to get that nice balanced flow of inhale and exhale. At this time, if you'd like to set an intention for your practice, you may do so. You do not have to, but if you'd like to. An intention can be a word or a phrase. Something you'd like to gain from your practice today, or something you'd like to take off the mat with you once you leave. If you do decide to set an intention for your practice today, I encourage you to repeat it to yourself 3 times to seal in its beautiful vibrational energy. From here, we're going to start to prepare the body for movement once again as we slowly make our way into our practice today. So we're going to start with 3 deep cleansing inhales. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Allowing yourself to visualize on those exhales a release here. Whether that be something that is weighing on your heart or your mind, a problem that you are facing off the mat here. Can't talk today. Allowing yourself to release that with each and every exhale. And knowing that as you move through your practice, if there's at any moment where you feel a little bit of a catch, something that is just kind of weighing your mind down, even as you're moving through the practice, remember that each and every exhale is a moment to release, a moment to open up new space for light and love to be filled. After that 3rd and final exhale here, we'll start to incorporate little tiny micro movements through the fingertips and the toes. Sending those larger to the ankles and the wrists, taking it nice and slow. We are in absolutely no rush here today. Perhaps you shake the head yes and no on your mat, waking up the cervical spine. And then whenever you're ready, slow and steady, we're going to draw those arms up overhead, bringing our biceps up next to our ears. As we're doing so, we're going to point through the toes towards the bottom of our mat or away from the body here, and we're reaching up nice and long. Palms of the hands are facing each other here, fingertips are reaching out. That spine is elongating more and more here. Remembering to breathe. Taking one more deep breath in, we'll reach those fingertips out just a little bit further. Exhale, we're going to draw those knees into the chest, nice and slow. bringing them in for Konasana. Knees come in, wrapping those arms around the knees as much as you can, and feel free to roll side to side, giving the lower back a nice gentle massage here between gravity and the earth below you. Finding some stillness here, we'll hug those knees in just a little bit deeper. Inhaling in, we'll bring the nose up towards the knees. Exhale, releasing the head back down onto the mat. One more time, inhale, peeling the back of the head up off the mat, nose to knees. Exhale, releasing down. Taking a moment here, hugging the knees in. And then slowly we'll roll over onto our left side body into a fetal position. So nice and easy, taking it over to the side. From here, we're going to take our top arm. For me, if I'm on my left side here, my top arm is going to be my right hand up towards the ceiling, pressing it down into the earth in front of our face, and slowly and gently pressing ourselves up into a seated position. Now, as you come up into your seated position, feel free to take whatever feels most comfortable to you. So that can be either sitting up onto a pillow, sitting up on top of a blanket if that feels good, lifting those hips up a little bit. The feet can be crossed applesauce here, crisscross applesauce, or we can take one leg in front of the other. Like I said, whatever feels most comfortable to you. That is one of the beauties of yoga, is that you can start to really become in tune with the body and know exactly what you want at the exact same time. So as we're coming into our nice comfy seated position, we're going to roll those shoulders back a few times. Very nice and easy here. We're just getting those shoulders down and away from the ears. We're taking them up and down. Feel free to get as dramatic with it as you want. And what I mean by that is like taking them up as high as you want and down as high as you want. Really getting deep into these rolls. We'll slowly take those motions forward, drawing the shoulders towards the front, rounding through the spine as we do. And we'll come back up to center here. From here, I want you to sit up nice and tall, okay? So I want you to imagine that there is a string extending from the top of your head, from the crown of your head, lifting you up nice and easy. We'll bring that chest forward just slightly, closing the eyes for just a minute. Promise you can trust me here. Taking some nice deep breaths in. If you set an intention at the beginning of your practice, feel free to come back to that at this moment. But I just want to reiterate, or I guess say for the first time in this class, that when you are on your mat here, you are safe, you are supported, and above all, you are loved. So as you move through your practice today, remember these three things. Remembering that you are in a safe environment here. If any emotions start to bubble up throughout the practice, see if you can really acknowledge their existence. See what they're trying to bring you. See what they're trying to teach you. And then slowly allow them to pass through. Taking one more deep breath in here. Out through either the nose or the mouth, and we'll open those eyes back up again. Remembering that throughout the practice you can always have the eyes closed if you feel like it. That is not a requirement here. If you can trust me and trust that your body and yourself can understand as we navigate these poses, feel free to do so. From here, we're gonna work through the neck just a little bit before we get into our first big pose here. So we're gonna take our head over to our left shoulder. This is my right shoulder, but I'm going to mirror you guys, and I hope that makes sense when it comes to editing. So we're gonna take our head over to our left shoulder. Left hand can then come up on top. We're not pulling or pressing, we're just allowing that left hand to carry us over just a little bit more. Taking our gaze down towards our left knee. And up towards the ceiling over our right shoulder. Bringing it back to our left shoulder. We'll remove our left hand, bringing it back down to our knee. And from here, we'll take it down through center as we carry it over to our right shoulder. Right hand can then come up on top if you'd like, not pulling down or pressing down, just allowing the weight of our hand to carry us over just a little bit more. Taking our gaze down towards our right knee. And then up towards the ceiling, over our left shoulder this time. Bringing it back to that right shoulder. We'll remove our right hand, gently tracing it down through center here, holding chin to chest. As we are here, chin to chest, feel free to stay right here. However, if you'd like, you can bring the hands to the back of the neck, giving yourself a nice gentle massage up into the base of the skull or down onto the trap muscles that connect the shoulders to the neck. A nice little moment of some self-care and some self-love, allowing yourself to really breathe into this massage. I think many of us enjoy massages, but how often do we actually allow ourselves to even give ourselves a massage instead of having to go out and pay a lot of money and stuff like that? Just taking a moment to relax the shoulders down and just give ourselves a nice gentle massage here. And then whenever you're ready, I know that you might be really enjoying your massage, so take your time. Whenever you're ready, we're going to slowly start to take our gaze up towards the ceiling, opening up through our beautiful throats here. Nice deep breath in, feeling this expansion, feeling this opening through that throat. Often we are looking down at our cell phones or our computers, so this may feel a little dramatic to you. Really involve yourself and surrender yourself to this discomfort. At any point during the entire practice, if there ever becomes a point where the discomfort becomes pain, then please, please, please listen to your body and slowly come out of that pose. But I do encourage you to sit with a little bit of discomfort to kind of see where the body is normally ready to sit in and see how we can move that so that it is ready to move in all forms. Taking one more deep breath in here and out. Coming back to center. Great job, guys. From here, we're going to start moving into our first big pose of the practice. So we're going to be coming into a supported Baddha Konasana. Like I said, I will be showing you guys with the pillows and stuff like that, but if you do have yoga blocks and bolsters at home, I will also instruct you of when you can use those as well. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to bring the soles of the feet together. The soles of the feet can be as far away from the body or as close to the body as we want here, okay? Once we have the feet set up, nice and easy, we're going to start to prop it up. So the first thing that we're going to prop up is our knees. So this is where if you have yoga blocks, you can slide those yoga blocks right underneath the knees. However, if you don't have yoga blocks and we're using our throw pillows today, we'll just slide those throw pillows right nice underneath the knees here. If they are not tall enough to help support your knees, you can always fold them over if that's possible for your throw pillows. Mine have a little bit of give here, so I could fold them over like so. However, you can also use that blanket or that beach towel, whatever you want here, fold that up and under and place that under the knees as well. So many options here. Once we have those knees nice and propped up here, you know, you've got gravity pulling down just a little bit, but we got those nice cushions here. We're gonna grab onto our pillows. So I'm gonna grab onto both pillows here, if you can see me there. And we're going to place them inside this little diamond we've created with the legs. So we've created a little diamond shape. We're gonna place the pillows right in between here. Now we have two options here. We can place those pillows down towards the earth and slowly fold over those pillows, or we can bring them up into the chest, hugging them in here as we lean forward. We are going to be moving into a forward fold, so figure out what feels best to you. Try one out, and if it doesn't feel the best, try the other one out. And if that one feels worse than the first, then go back to the first here, trying to see what feels most comfortable to you today. So once we have all of our props set up here, we're going to sit up nice and tall like we did before, reaching up through the crown of the head, inhaling in. And exhaling, we're going to start to tilt the chest forward. So we don't want to forward fold, or we don't want to slump the shoulders forward too quickly. We're going to sit up and slowly tilt forward. If we are hugging those pillows into the body, going as far as you'd like, you can take the head to either side. If you do enjoy being up onto the chin, feel free to stay here. And if we're taking the pillows down in front of us, we'll slowly walk the hands out. Once again, coming down here. You can be on the chin or the forehead, or over to one side or the other. We will be here for about 3 minutes, so at the halfway mark, I will let you know that we are at the halfway mark so that you can switch sides of the face if that feels comfortable for you. And really just surrendering yourself down into this pose. So really allowing that lower back to release here. With each and every exhale, seeing if you can get a little bit lower, a little bit deeper into this stretch. Noticing as we're lying here in this forward fold where the thoughts might drift off to. Noticing how you're feeling right now. And just being here in this moment on your mat. We are about halfway through this pose, so if you want to switch on to the other cheek, if you are turning your head to one side or the other, or if you just want to surrender down just a little bit more. Remembering that at any point, if something just does not feel good, if you're just not vibing with it, feel free to adjust. Just because we're sinking into these poses as much as we can does not mean that you cannot move and adjust. Just encourage that when you have adjusted to really sink yourself back down, allowing the body to release. We'll be in this pose for about 30 more seconds. You guys are doing amazing. Allow yourself to take one more deep breath in here. On that exhale, see if you can get just a little bit lower into this pose. After that, we're going to start those 3 deep cleansing breaths that we've done throughout our practice so far to prepare the body for movement so that we can come out of this pose. So we're going to inhale in through the nose, out through the mouth. After that third breath here, we'll start to re-engage with the body. So if we have the pillows out and long here, we'll start to press back into the foundation of our hands, slowly walking the hands back up so that we can push ourselves back up to center. If we were hugging that pillow into the chest as we lean forward, we're going to engage with the spine, with the core, and slowly tilt ourselves back up, nice and easy. As we coming up into that seated position, we'll remove our pillows or our bolster out of our way here, placing it to the side. We're going to gently draw the knees back up into each other together, removing the pillows to the side. And then from here, we're going to bring the feet closer to the body, hugging them in. From here, we're going to draw the chest forward. Excuse me. And exhale, we'll round through that spine. One more time, inhale, drawing that chest towards the knees. Exhale, release the back, rounding through that spine. And coming back up to center. Great job, guys. From here, we're going to start transitioning into our next pose. So we're going to come down our mat just a little bit more here, and then we're going to grab onto our pillows again. If you're using your bolster, you can grab onto your bolster, and we're going to place it horizontal down our mat. So we're going to place it in a perpendicular angle to our mat here so that the pillows are out long here. And then we're going to grab onto both of our pillows. If you are using blocks here, feel free to grab onto those as well. And we're going to place one pillow. Let's see if this works here. I normally do this with blocks, but let's see. We'll place one pillow here, and then we're going to place the other pillow on the other side, kind of propped up on top of that pillow. So let me scoot down just a little bit so I can demonstrate this a little bit better, since I've got limited space here. So once we have both pillows stacked on top of each other here, just a little bit of a lip on top of that one, we want a little bit of space between our bolsters or our pillows here and that first throw pillow. The reason for this is we're going to slide our hand through in just a moment. So whenever you're ready, we're going to bring ourselves onto our right hip, and we're going to stack the knees on top of each other here. You don't have to keep the knees like this after we start to get into the pose, but this is the best way to set up for the pose. Once we have this, we're going to slowly turn our focus towards our bolster, towards our pillow, and draw the hips and the side body down on top of that bolster, of that pillow here. This is where the right hand is going to be threaded through that little space that we created for between these pillows and our first throw pillow. From there, we can rest our head on that first throw pillow. If you need to fold that throw pillow up on top so you can reach it a little bit better, feel free to do so. With our left top arm, we're going to slowly slide and glide that top arm up overhead so that it can be placed on top of this top throw pillow here. Bringing that arm up overhead, we're really stretching out through this left side body, okay? So this top side body, we're really stretching out nice and thorough. From here, if you'd like, you can take the legs out long, either the top leg out, or you can extend both legs out long here. Really breathing into that side body. Once you feel nice and comfy in this pose, feel free to gently close the eyes. Coming into what I call our blissful banana. Nice, relaxing, but banana shaped. Remembering to come back to your breath, come back to your intention if you lose it. Allowing yourself to sink down into this pose just a little bit more. Maybe you reach a little bit further with that top arm. We're about halfway through this pose. You're doing great. See if with your next inhale you can kind of feel that rib cage expanding just a little bit. Taking a moment to notice little nuances throughout the body. We'll be here for about 30 more seconds, so sink in just a little bit deeper, and then we'll start those 3 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. After your third and final breath, first we're going to bring those feet back in so that the knees are stacked on top of each other. Once the knees are stacked gently on top of each other, we'll slowly melt that left arm down the body, taking it nice and easy and extending it down towards the feet. From here, we're going to bring that right hand in just a little bit closer to the body, bringing the top of the hand onto the mat. We'll push up through the forearm, coming to sit up here, my throw pillow unfolded, and then we'll push ourselves up just a little bit more so that we can bring that right hand under, pushing ourselves up. We can then bring our left hand down, pushing ourselves up the rest of the way. Once we're all nice up here, we're going to switch on to the other side. So we're just going to flip around. We've got our props all set up here. We're just going to shift over onto the left hips this time. So I'm going to turn away from you guys to set up this pose. Once again, we're bringing those pillows up against the hip crease. Nice and easy. The knees are stacked. From here, we can glide that, this time our left hand underneath, coming to rest on that first throw pillow. If you need to fold it up so that it's a little bit more comfy for you, feel free to do so. And then we're going to gently take that right arm up overhead, reaching towards that top throw pillow. From here, if you'd like, you can extend the legs out long and then slowly sink into your blissful banana. I'm gonna come up into a seated position so that I can watch the clock for you guys right here. But allow yourself to truly sink down into this pose. We opened up through the left rib cage on the other side, so now this time we're opening up through that right rib cage. Nice deep breaths in, feeling that expansion. Seeing if you can take that top right arm out just a little bit further, reaching just a little bit further. And once again, noticing any thoughts that may be drifting through, noticing any emotions that might be bubbling up to the surface. We're a little over halfway through this pose. Allowing your body to surrender to the pose just a little bit more if you can. And then whenever you're ready, I'm going to start those 3 deep cleansing breaths again. In through the nose and out through the mouth. After that third, final, deep cleansing breath, we're going to draw the legs in first. If your legs were out long, we're going to restack the knees so that the right knee is back on top of that left knee, coming closer to our pillows or our bolster. From there, we're going to slide that right arm down the body, sending it back towards the feet. Really engaging with that left arm, we're going to pull it in just a little bit closer so that we can press into our forearm. Pressing into that forearm, we'll push ourselves up just enough so that we can bring that right hand back up and help push us back up into a seated position once again. From here, we're going to roll through the shoulders just a little bit. And then we're going to start to transition into our next pose. So our next pose is going to be a restorative twist. So we are going to remove our 2 throw pillows or our blocks, whatever you were using here. We're going to move these out of the way, so we're going to set them aside. And then we're going to take our bolster or our pillows, in this case, and we're going to take them vertical down our mat. So whenever you're ready, we'll take those bolster or our pillows vertically down the back of our mat or wherever on the mat you'd like. And then we're going to restack those knees. So we're going to come over onto the right hip again, starting with the right hip. Knees are stacked, left knee is up on top of that right knee, or just gently to the side of it. It doesn't have to be perfectly stacked on top. Once we have this nice and set up, we're going to draw those bolsters as close, or the pillows, as close to the body as we possibly can here. And then we're going to take our hands out to either side, kind of in front of the shoulders, and we're going to turn to face our bolster, coming down, bringing the hands to frame our pillows, and slowly walking our hands down our pillows, coming to rest our chest on top of the pillows. From here, we can come onto the chin, onto the left cheek if you would want to get a little bit deeper into the stretch, or onto the right cheek, whatever feels most comfy to you. Allowing that back to get a nice gentle twist here. We're nice and supported by our pillows. This might feel nice and comfy for some of you if you tend to sleep more on your stomach or on your side. You might be like, oh, this is nice and cozy, nice and comfy. Taking some nice deep breaths here. We are about halfway through this pose, so if you would like to change which side your head is turned to, feel free to do so. But do know what we will be switching sides completely, so you will get the equal amount of time on each side if you just want to leave it. Allowing ourselves to melt down just a little bit more. We'll be here for about 30 more seconds, so really let that body just melt into the pillow. Don't feel like you have to hold yourself up at all. And then we'll start those 3 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Remembering to create space with each exhale. And after that third, final cleansing breath, we'll slowly start to re-engage our foundations through our hands here. Pressing into them, we'll slowly push ourselves up and slowly walk the hands back towards the body here, sitting up nice and tall again. From here, we're going to do the same thing on the other side, so we're going to switch on over, coming on to the left hip, stacking that right knee on top of the left knee here. We're going to bring the hands to either sides of the shoulders, turning to face our bolster or pillows. We'll place our hands on either side of the pillows or bolster and start to walk ourselves back down to rest on the other side. Once again, on this side, you can have your gaze over towards the the left, or over towards the right, or just stacking the chin on top of the bolster here. Taking some nice deep breaths in. Noticing if this side feels a little bit different than the other. Coming back to your intention, if you set one. We're about halfway through this pose, so if you'd like to change sides that you're resting your head on, if you'd like to readjust it all, feel free to do so. We'll be here for about 30 more seconds, so really sinking down just that little last bit more. And then we'll start those 3 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. After that 3rd breath, once again, we'll reconnect with our hands here. Pressing into the foundations, we'll push ourselves up nice and easy. And slowly start to walk our hands back towards the body, sitting up nice and tall here. From here, we're going to switch on over onto our butts again, onto our glutes, leaving the bolster or the pillows exactly where they are, as we're going to transition into our final pose of the practice before we move into Shavasana. So from here, we're going to bring those pillows or bolsters up against the base of the spine here, so right up against the very bottom of the spine. And from here, we're going to be moving into a supported fish pose. Before we do that, I want to tell you that you can grab on to your throw pillows if that feels comfortable, as you can bring the feet into Baddha Konasana as we come into this pose. And if you want to support the knees like so, feel free to do so. So if you'd like, you can just grab them and place them nearby just in case you want to set those knees up for this. So like I said, if you're using your bolster or if you're using your pillows here, you can also use blocks for this, but seeing as we're using our pillows today, I'll go over that in a different video. But we're going to bring our hands to either side of the hips, framing our hips with our hands. And then we're going to slowly start to walk the hands down down the pillows or bolster, coming to rest our back body on top of these pillows here, okay? So the legs can be out long if that feels comfortable to you. Or if you'd like a little bit more, like I said, you can bring a bend in both knees, coming into Baddha Konasana here. The biggest thing that we want in the supported fish pose, as we've done our forward folds, we've done our side stretches, our twists, we want to get a little bit of a back bend here to really balance out the back here, so that we want our hips sinking down into the earth. We want our stomach up a little bit. We want our shoulders falling off the sides of our pillows, of our bolster. The chest is reaching up towards the sky. Hands are nice and easy on the ground, either palms up or palms down, whatever feels most comfortable to you. And we'll really sink down into this pose. If you feel at all like there's a little bit too much of a stretch in the back of the head, feel free to take an extra pillow or a blanket and give yourself a nice little pillow on top of your pillows to prop the neck up just a little bit. That way you get a little bit more support through the cervical spine. But really just surrender yourself to this pose, noticing how it makes you feel. Feel free to close the eyes here, really just surrendering yourself down, allowing yourself to be present here in this very moment on the mat. Taking this moment to thank your body once again for all that it does for you. And I'm going to slowly come up into a seated position, but you please stay down in this fish pose, okay? So I'm going to come up to seated so that I can explain how we're going to close out our practice today. So if you enjoy fish pose, if you're really enjoying this pose, feel free to stay here for our little Shavasana, okay? However, if you would like to come out of it, if you think that there's a better pose for you currently, whether that be traditional Shavasana, which is corpse pose, lying completely flat on your back body, or if there's just something else that's calling to you today, I truly believe that Shavasana should be the perfect pose for you in this moment, in this time. So if you would like to come out of your fish pose, if you'd like to stay in it, please feel free to just rest in this until I lead you through Shavasana and everything. But if you'd like to come out of it, we're going to draw our hands down to either side of the hips once again. Pressing into the foundation of our hands, we're going to lift our head up, tucking it into our chin, and slowly pressing ourselves up into a seated position. From here, we'll bring those knees together. If they were in Baddha Konasana, we can remove our pillows out to the side, remove our pillows or our bolster to the side if that feels comfy to you. However you're getting into your perfect Shavasana pose, I will give you the next few moments to get into that perfect pose, get nice and comfy. If you're in that fish pose, feel free to close the eyes as we are about to relax down into Shavasana. And as we're coming into our perfect Shavasana pose, we'll start to close the eyes once again. And I'm going to lead you through a small relaxation here. First, we're going to relax through the feet and the ankles, allowing the calves to melt down into the earth, becoming very heavy here. The knees splay open in whichever way they choose. Your hips become heavy against the earth below. Your stomach rises and falls with each and every beautiful breath you take. Your chest and your shoulders are completely supported by the earth below you. Your throat becomes calm. Your jaw unclenches. Your brows unfurrow. Allow your breath to return to its natural, neutral rhythm, and then allow your mind to wander, and then just become quiet. I will guide you back shortly. going to slowly start to draw our awareness back to the body. We're coming to the end of our Shavasana. However, if you'd like to stay here for a little bit longer, feel free to pause the video and stay as long as you like, and unpause the video whenever you're ready. If you are ready to start to come out of your Shavasana, we're going to start to notice first the physical body, noticing the muscles and the bones, how you feel physically in this very moment. Slowly turning our awareness to the more subtle body, to our breath, to our thoughts and where they may lead to. Noticing how we feel emotionally in this very moment. Slowly, we'll start to draw our awareness to our surroundings, to the sights, the sounds, the smells, even the touch of our clothes upon our skin, and the mat and the props beneath us. Taking this moment to come back to reality, come back to this moment. Whenever you're ready, we're going to start those 3 deep cleansing breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth, one last time to prepare the body for movement. After that 3rd and final exhale, we'll start to incorporate little tiny micro movements throughout the body, starting with the fingertips and the toes, sending it larger to the ankles and the wrist. Perhaps you shake the head yes and no, waking up the cervical body, waking up the cervical spine, excuse me. And just taking these next few moments to reawaken the body however you see fit. And as we all are probably in very different poses at this point, we're going to slowly and mindfully make our way back up into a seated position one last time. If you are in that supported fish pose, I encourage you to draw the hands down to either side of the hips, tucking the chin in as you slowly press yourself up to seated. If you are in any other pose, please, I encourage you to take your time. There is no rush whatsoever. Once we come up into a nice seated position, we're going to roll those shoulders back just a few times. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to take those arms up overhead, allowing the palms to kiss above us. Once the hands are together, we're going to bring those hands down in 3 stages. The first, we're going to draw the hands down so that the thumbs graze our forehead. We stop here to remember that our thoughts have so much control over the things that we do, the things that we say, and the way that we feel. But we have control over these thoughts. So I encourage you to observe your thoughts, to learn from them and grow with them. Allow yourself to cultivate a mindset of positivity available to you at any and all times, allowing a spark to begin from within you. Slowly we'll draw the hands down to in front of the mouth. We stop here to remember that our words are powerful. Our words are so incredibly powerful. With them, they have the ability to change our lives, to change others' lives, and to change the world. So I encourage you, as you are leaving your mat today, as you go out into the world, let your voice be heard. Allow your ideas, your opinions, your innovation, your creativity, your love be shown out into the world. Allow that spark that began from within you to shine out and touch other people's lives. Slowly we'll draw the hands down to heart center, the final resting place of our hands in today's practice. We stop here to take a moment for us, to take a moment to thank ourselves for coming to the mat today and doing something purely and totally for ourselves. We thank our bodies for all that they do for us. We thank our minds for all that they do for us. We thank ourselves for all that we do, for every accomplishment we've ever achieved, for every obstacle we've overcome. We thank ourselves, our community, and the world around us for every opportunity we've ever received and every opportunity that's just waiting around the corner for us. We take this moment for us. Remember how amazing and incredible you are. And we take this moment so that I may thank you for sharing your big, beautiful, magical practice with me today. The light in me truly sees, honors, respects, and loves the light in each and every single one of you. Until we meet again, namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really, really hope you enjoyed today's class. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already, hit that subscribe button. I'm working on creating a lot of new content for you guys, lots of classes, lots of flows, lots of sequences. If there is anything specific that you would like, whether that be a flow or a meditation or a part of the body, or even if you'd like me to just break down a specific pose, please, please, please feel free to comment that down below. As always, you can find me on all social media platforms. Those links are also down in the description box below. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, concerns, or if you just like to chit chat, feel free to message me or comment below. I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye!